Live in studio is Oregon Senator Ron Wyden to talk about Oregon's wildfire preparedness and other important issues for our state. Welcome, Senator. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me back.
You bet. Hey, wildfires really is the big topic, hot topic, so to speak. Tomorrow you're meeting with state and federal leaders to get a briefing. What do you hope to learn?
Well, first of all, Lisa, I just saw the story that you all were running out of Wasco County. I mean, we ought to put into perspective, this is just the beginning of the fire season. And my sense is that today's fires are not your grandfather's fires. They're bigger, they're hotter, they're more powerful. They leap over rivers. It gets hot and dry. The fuel gets built up on the forest floor, and then all of a sudden somebody drops a match or there's a lightning strike and you've got an inferno on your hands. And I believe what we'll hear tomorrow is that we're going to have our hands full once again.
You also have a bill in Congress. You bring a lot of money into the state to fight wildfires, but my understanding is you're trying to say, hey, before we get to that point, let's do some things, proactively to prevent the fires. Tell us why you're meeting a little bit of resistance in something like that, these prescribed burns.
Well, first of all, Lisa, what I've tried to focus on is prevention. You got a choice, as you touch on. You can wait until everything, just blows up, literally and figuratively, and then you try to put it out, or you can be serious about prevention. And I led the fight for an enormously important law to end fire borrowing, where we were literally raiding the money of the prevention funds to put the fire out. That's helping, but the next big step is to go in there during the cold weather season when people aren't thinking about fires, and do some very careful and limited burns, what are called prescribed burns. You let the scientists call the shots so you can make sure that the community around the fire is safe, and it's going to make a big difference.
You have a bill to fund this, but there is some resistance. Who is resisting this?
Well, there's some who still don't believe back there in the Beltway how serious this is. I like to think that as the smoke has made its way eastward, we're going to wake some folks up. But I think there are also some people who really haven't looked at the safety evidence. I mean, we're taking, our professionals, great care to make sure that the safety of residents nearby is taken care of during the cold weather months. And I think we're going to be able to get the extra funds.
Turning to another topic, over in eastern Oregon, they're really struggling with places that provide labor and delivery services in the hospitals. They don't have enough people coming in. They say financially they're just having to cut back because it's a very expensive part of the things that they provide. You have a bill that gives money to these hospitals. Some people say, well, why do we need to do that?
We're looking at the prospect, Lisa, in rural Oregon and elsewhere, of these communities becoming maternity deserts. They're just not delivering many babies, and that makes it hard to grow the workforce so we can get the good paying jobs to compete with China. And I'm taking an approach that's really very targeted. For example, we're saying that we'll get some additional funds out to these rural hospitals. We understand that the demographics have changed, but we're not going to let these big hospital operations and private equity firms take the money and run. They're going to get the extra funds, but it's going to be kept local.
Last question for you. We have the big presidential debate that is coming up.
I heard there's an election coming up. Is that true?
That's right. And, the big question people have is, we have this debate coming up, and most people, though, likely have already made up their minds. So what do you see as the value in having the debate when, obviously, there's a few people still need to decide, but most people know who they're going to vote for?
It's always very valuable to see the candidates side by side. I think the president will focus in on what I see at my town hall meetings. I've had almost 1,100 of them. The focus is on cutting costs, and we'll talk about our effort to hold down the cost of prescription medicine. As far as the former President Donald Trump is concerned, I think we're trying to see if he'll have the patience when the mics get cut off.
As a true Democrat, I would expect some kind of commentary there. Thanks, Senator, for coming in. We really appreciate it. Good luck. You have some town halls coming up this week in Eastern Oregon. Hope that all goes well.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And coming up, that debate, by the way, is this Thursday, June 27th. If you do want to watch, you'll be able to see it right here on KOIN 6. That debate starts at 6 p.m.